Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the School Districts of the Chatham Board of Education meeting, September 26, 2016. Just a quick housekeeping item. I know everybody's anxious to get back for the debate, so we'll try and move it along. In accordance with the requirements of the Open Public Meeting Act, Chapter 231, PL 1975, I wish to announce that the New Jersey Public Open Meeting Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice and to attend meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interest is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of this act, the School Districts of the Chatham has caused notice of this meeting to be published by having the date, time, place thereof posted at the Board Administrative Offices, the Chatham clerks, the clerks of the borough and the townships, the Library of the Chathams, the Chatham Courier, the Daily Record, and the Star Ledger. Mr. DeQuilla, would you mind taking attendance? Roll call.
Sure. Mr. Gilfield. Here. Mr. Arnott. Here. Ms. Ciccarelli.
Here.
Ms. Clark.
Here.
Mr. Thomas.
Here.
Ms. Brody.
Here.
Mr. Burns.
Yes.
Ms. Kenny.
Yes.
And Ms. Weber.
Here.
9 present. Yeah.
Thanks. If everybody could join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great. Thank you, everybody. Again, thank you for coming out. My only comment is that we're going to try and be as succinct as possible to ensure folks can get home for the presidential debates. We'll certainly take the time we need to on any items, but we'll try and also get out at a reasonable time. I don't have any additional comments, so without further ado, Dr. LaSousa, if you wouldn't mind doing the superintendent's report.
Sure. To start off, just a reminder that tomorrow is the vote on the referendum, and to thank you, Ms. Weber, for making it to so many PTO meetings and back-to-school nights over the course of the last couple of weeks. We've, I think, exhausted all of the mailings and information sessions and so on and so forth, so we're at the end of the game now, and polls will be open beginning 7 a.m., so we hope that all voters come out and express their opinion one way or another on each project. Then the only other item I wanted to share stems from some discussion that the board had back in June, I think, maybe May. Mr. Gilfillan had brought up the idea of having community members who are not parents in the district and not part of our information system have a way to sign up so that they can receive any kind of alerts, or at least the informational alerts on a ongoing basis that come out of my office. So we have that actually set up now. I just wanted to show where the link is on the website for anybody who is so inclined to have their name entered into a database. And then as soon as any person does that, they'll start receiving alerts that are sent out from the school district. So I have to apologize because the resolution through the projector distorts some of the links. But if you just go to our website, this is our main, our homepage. There's a section that says community, and usually the community section is next to the parent resources, but like I say, the resolution is a little bit off. So the community section right there, the bottom link right on the left says school district alert registration. So any person can go to the website, click on community resources, and that takes you right to this link. And if you hit that link, it's very simple. You put in your first name, your last name, and your email address, and you will start receiving alerts.
And that's on the district homepage, correct?
District homepage.
Okay, not each school.
Not each school, because the parents go to each school, and yeah. And then any person who gets tired of getting these alerts can just click right here, and then we'll get a message internally to unsubscribe the person. We'll take them out.
Is there a way that we can get this information into the township and the borough so that they can, they might have a network to blast out?
Sure.
So if you are interested, go to the district website and they can.
Yep, we can put an advisement or notification out to them.
Another thing, do we have someone on staff who can tag? Do we have someone on staff who would be able to help someone do this if they
Yes.
were struggling with the technology component of subscribing?
They can call district offices,
Okay.
my office, and
Okay.
Margie Murphy will walk them through everything.
Awesome, thank you.
So that's that. And that concludes my report.
That was succinct. Thank you very much. Moving on to the business administrator's report, Mr. DeQuilla.
Yes, I just have two things to report on the construction. Both the bathrooms at Lafayette and Southern Boulevard have received their certificates of occupancy. The architect has gone through and done the punch list, so the contractor just has some few items to correct, and that job can be closed. For the boiler replacement at Southern, the contractor is almost finished, and we'll begin testing the boilers by the end of this week, so we'll be more than ready for the October 15th mandate of having heat in the building if needed. Just a quick transportation update. I know that the first couple of weeks, some of the transportation has been a little rocky and off schedule. The district has been working with First Student to alter the start times for the morning routes for the middle school. As of last Wednesday with the latest adjustment, all the bus times have been corrected and the buses have been getting to school on time. Through one of the meetings, Dr. LaSousa brought up, and we addressed an issue with the high school H4 bus route, which was approximately an hour long. In working with First Student, the H4 route will be split into two, and we will create a new H5 route. So all of the high school buses will begin their pickups approximately 6:40 in the morning, arriving at 7:10, so they all can then go do the middle school routes as designed in our three-tier system. So each route will pick up about 6:40 and get the students there by 7:10. The length of the H4 route, which was approximately 60 minutes, will now be 30 minutes. So all the students will have a pickup at 6:40. Having the additional morning route should allow the district to add more subscription riders for the morning part of going to school, because we have a wait list. But none of this will be adjusted until the week of October 10th. We want to get the new routes up and running,
Okay.
verify the timing before we start adding more students. So that's all I have to report.
Is it a lengthy waiting list?
There are some in different pocket areas that are going on, so we hope to accommodate. The biggest wait list is in the condos off of River Road, so we
Okay.
hope to be able to accommodate those people.
They
Okay.
don't get mandatory busing? It's
No,
No, it's
they're
not.
less than 2.5 miles.
Not to the high school. In part, some of our difficulties are because of the shortage of staff, correct? Bus drivers at the,
Some of the issue, and it's not only First Student, a lot of the bus companies, since the state revamped the CDL requirements last year, a lot of new drivers are having difficulty obtaining a CDL because they reduced the number of times that the tests are provided, so it's more difficult to get a license.
oh, you
It
can't just
seems-
go to DMV anymore and
No,
take
you
the
have
test?
to, no, there's this very specific test you need to take for the CDL license. And
Okay,
especially even, I would think most of the 54 passenger buses have air brakes, so there's a separate air brake
Right.
endorsement, which makes it a little more challenging.
all right, I was trying to find a second career for Mr. Connors, but that may make it more difficult. Look, I'm looking out for you, Rich.
I've taken the test and failed the course.
All right, thank you. Does anybody else have any questions on construction or bus routes or anything for the business office? Nope, very good. Thank you. Moving on to committee reports. We're going to start with personnel. Ms. Clark?
Personnel has not met since our last meeting.
Excellent. Moving over to curriculum, Ms. Kenny?
Yes, curriculum just met prior to this meeting. We discussed the Chatham High School overnight international field trip to Quebec and Montreal City, which will be taking place November 9th through the 13th, and it's on the agenda for approval in the curriculum section. We also had a presentation from Karen Chase of the park testing, and it will be presented to the public on October 10th. And lastly, we reviewed the orientation that is given by the administration for new hires to the district.
Okay, excellent.
I don't know when our next meeting is, though. I believe it's sometime in
Okay. Well, we'll look it up. We just had one, so it's probably a couple weeks out. Okay, thank you very much. Moving on to finance and facilities, Mr. Gilfillan?
Yes, we met on September the 13th and discussed a number of small issues, particularly was the facility use. In terms of what we have seen from a use perspective particularly on Sunday mornings on our fields, we're just putting up and putting the language together in terms of the signs to restrict and control use, whether from it be a no trespassing sign, restrictions of field use and the hours of restriction. We also talked about just the continued policy that we have in terms of Cougar Field use on Sundays, just even for the internal Chatham sports organizations, where we just validated the existing policy in terms of when not only the day can start, but also restrictions surrounding the PA, as well as restrictions in terms of use of the press box during these events. I guess maybe at the end of this, we could go through whether or not we've made up those signs yet in terms of what we're putting over at the fields, or
No,
we're still working on that? Okay. Okay, we will discuss the exact words at the next meeting. We discussed the continuing issue from a sanitary perspective, drainage into the sanitary sewers. We are inspecting our floor drains, as we do not believe we were the source. I'm not quite sure, since that's 2 weeks ago, whether or not we've had any follow-up with that. No follow-up with that, but we continue to believe that wasn't us. Then we discussed, as we spoke to last time on the music trip, and our, I believe in board business on one of the public commentaries, the GoFundMe page for the trip to Disney, which we were fine with. And last but not least was just an update on in terms of the bus routes and a waiting list for people to get on the buses that lay outside of the mandated bus. Basically, there's a 2-mile radius that people need to be outside of to get a mandatory busing, and then within that you can get you can pay for it, but you have to be on a waiting list if available. We meet again post the referendum. And what is it? October the 19th. 19th? Any questions?
I do not have any questions. Part of that October 19th meeting, we're going to bring in legal counsel?
Yes.
And can we just send that out to the board, because the entire board is able to attend the first portion of that?
So it's a,
Regarding the sign.
so
It's a finance, it's a closed session, and those of us not on the finance committee will depart after that portion. So it'll be closed, and then you'll continue on with your committee meeting. But if you could just remind the board that they can attend the first 20 minutes or 15, whatever you're slotting, a half hour. A lot of you were interested in attending that?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Okay, excellent. Moving on to policy, Mr. Franz?
We have not met since the last meeting, but lots of ideas percolating.
Excellent.
And we
Just
will
here?
Just here.
Okay.
But we will discuss them October the 10th
October the 10th.
at our next meeting.
I can't wait. Excellent. Very good. Thank you very much. Moving on to liaisons, we're going to start with Mr. Connors in the borough.
Nothing to report from the borough as related to Board of Ed.
Excellent. Thank you. Chatham Township.
Just at this past weekend, there was the Walk of Darkness, suicide prevention and mental health initiative that came out of the township. I know you participated, and I understand it was a success.
It was a huge success. Thank you, Michelle. There were over 500 walkers. It raised $65,000. Mayor Ritter has really put this on the forefront and made it a focus, and Councilman Resto in the borough has really championed it on his side of town and beyond our borders. It was really fantastic. It was quite sobering to see the number of students and young people there with team T-shirts supporting, friends and people that they've lost. So it was really very powerful. And for a first-year walk to have over 500 walkers and $65,000, it was really phenomenal. Some kids came all the way up from Virginia to, support a college friend that they had lost who went to school down there. So it was really extremely sobering, and again, thank you to Mayor Ritter for championing it and putting it out there. And the whole concept is, the more we can remove the stigma and more people talk about it, the more, adults and children and anybody suffering from depression or any kind of mental illness will not feel so alone and so desperate. So if we can talk about it more and more and more and just keep it on the forefront, the goal is to, reduce the number of suicides. In fact, the foundation is trying to reduce the number of suicides by 25% by the year 2025. It's a lofty goal, but if we keep moving forward and make it as prevalent as a breast cancer walk or an Alzheimer's walk, then it will certainly begin to have an impact on the folks that are truly suffering and find no other option. So again, thank you to Mayor Ritter for a great walk, and Councilman Resto for championing it again on his side. So thank you, Michelle. Moving over to athletic boosters, Mr. Connors.
The Athletic Boosters has not met since our last meeting. They will be meeting the first Tuesday of October. However, I don't want to steal some thunder from Matt, but just another example of, and Matt will reference this in the Finance Committee, of the donation that they will be making, and they continue to make. It is incredible the money they raise and the services they provide. Quite frankly, similar to the other boosters, the music boosters, the theater boosters. But since I have a liaison with the athletic boosters, they're an incredible organization. If you have a child in the high school, please attend and participate and contribute. Other than that, I got nothing else to report from the Chatham boosters.
Okay, excellent. Moving on to the Chatham Performing Arts Boosters. Just wanted to say congratulations to the high school marching band for their first place win at Roxbury Marching Band Classic Competition this past weekend. They also took high honors for Best Music and Best Visual. Their next competition will be this Saturday, October 1st at Randolph High School. The music department just completed their first fundraising where the students can put money into their own student account to offset any trips that they might take. And there was also an information, this year we're running a Florida trip for the performing arts students. And there was an information session for parents and students to attend just to gather some information to see if they're interested in attending that trip. That was this past Thursday, September 22nd. The middle school music and theater department is putting on The Sound of Music February 2nd through the 4th. And the Performing Arts Boosters next meeting is Wednesday, October 5th, and they meet at 7 p.m. at the Lafayette Avenue School Teachers Lounge. That was the Reader's Digest version. Chatham Education Foundation, Ms. Kenny?
Yes, I'd just like to remind everybody that the CEF is putting together their annual fundraiser on November 5th at Fish and Game, and would encourage as many people to attend as possible.
Excellent, thank you very much. Moving on to Recreation, Mr. Giltone?
Nothing to report. Its next meeting is scheduled for October the 4th, I believe.
Okay, excellent, thank you. And PTO District Cabinet, Ms. Cronin, have they met?
It should be Wednesday. I haven't gotten a list of the dates.
Wednesday?
Margie, but it should be Wednesday. It's usually the first Wednesday of the month.
Okay, very good. So we'll look for your report next week. I would like to pass a motion to pass the public minutes of the Board of Education meeting for September 12th, public session.
I second.
Thank you. Mr. DeQuilla, who was out? Mr. Connors, okay. Could you just do a roll call vote then?
Minutes of 9/12, Mr. Gilpin.
Yes.
Mr. Harnett.
Yes.
Ms. Chiarelli.
Yes.
Ms. Clark.
Yes.
Mr. Connors.
Abstain.
Ms. Cronin.
Yes.
Mr. Franz.
Yes.
Ms. Kenny.
Yes.
And Ms. Weber.
Yes.
Motion passes 8-0-1.
Excellent, very good, thank you. We have our first opportunity for public commentary. We'll do that quickly, and then we'll go right into the agenda, the action items, and then we have a second opportunity toward the end of the meeting also for public commentary. No, you're good?
Jane Devlin, Chatham Township. I'd like to pose for thought and consideration why, if we are striving for balance between work, academics, and personal time, family time, is it essential to have practices and rehearsals on days off from school, such as October 3rd, 4th, and 12th upcoming? It's not really a holiday or time off or time away then, is it? How much could a team or troop's performance suffer if practice or rehearsal was suspended a day or two just here and there? So if the youth are doing homework on these days, and if they're still attending all structured practices, rehearsals, or commitments, as well as maybe catching up with ancillary appointments like a dentist visit or an SAT prep class, then the scales are not balanced, but they're rather still tipped in the direction of overdrive or be on all the time. So the opportunity to send the message that it's acceptable to step back, pause, renew is missed yet again. So no homework on all days off, hopefully, is still being explored. I do know we are making great progress. But how many nights would that be with no homework compared to nights with homework when it really comes down to it? If we did it on all days off, holidays and breaks from school. And maybe a compromise on days when school is off could be explored and reached, whereby maybe we could limit rehearsals or practices, say like to an hour, not too early so the kids could sleep in, not too long so they could still have the rest of their day off without their time prescribed or allocated. So just, being open to thinking about it, discussion, just keeping some ideas on the table for continued wellness. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Devlin. Are there any additional public comments? Again, there's another opportunity at the end, so if something pops into your head, you have another opportunity. We're going to move on to the action items. Moving along to personnel first.
I move action items A1 through A20 for public vote on the regular agenda. There are no addendums.
No addendums?
I'll second, please.
Excellent. Does anybody have any questions for Dr. LaSousa or Ms. Grant on any personnel items?
Just say congratulations to Lydia Lewicki on her retirement.
On what? I'm sorry.
On her retirement.
I know. Jealous again. Someday. Any additional questions? No questions? Mr. DeQuilla, would you mind doing a roll call vote?
Agenda items A1 to A20, Mr. Gilpin.
Yes.
Mr. Arnott.
Yes.
Ms. Chigarelli.
Yes.
Ms. Clark.
Yes.
Mr. Connors.
Yes.
Mr. Tony.
Yes.
Mr. Brown.
Yes.
Ms. Kenny.
Yes.
And Ms. Webb.
Yes.
Agenda items passed 9-0.
Excellent. Moving on to finance and facilities, Mr. Gilfillan.
Yes, I'd like to move action items B1 through 14 on your regular agenda.
Second.
As Mr. Connors, Mr. Connors was, I've been with you too long, was referring to two donations from the booster to one, the high school, and $4,000 for videotaping both the field hockey and the boys and girls soccer programs, and then secondly, another donation to the high school for $1,000 check for the tennis equipment. And by the way, I guess we should congratulate our women's tennis team for their fourth consecutive county title yesterday.
Wow. That's nice.
Number 4 in the state. If you follow your NewJersey.com sports section, you'll see.
I missed today's edition. It's great. It's great for the girls.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions for Matt or Peter or Dr. LaSousa on any of these items? If it appears that we're rushing through, these are posted on Friday night, so we look at them over the weekend, and the public has access to the agenda items as well on Friday night. I'm seeing no additional questions. Mr. DeQuilla, would you mind?
Agenda items B1 through B14, Mr. Gilpin.
Yes.
Mr. Arnott.
Yes.
Ms. Chigarelli.
Yes.
Ms. Clark.
Yes.
Mr. Connors.
Yes.
Ms. Crone.
Yes.
Mr. Brown.
Yes.
Ms. Kenny.
Yes.
And Ms. Webb.
Yes.
Agenda items passed 9-0.
Excellent. Moving on to curriculum. Ms. Kenny, would you
Yes.
mind?
I would like to move action items C1 to C4 for vote.
I guess to explain the after-school enrichment Pokemon, Pet Milk Math. What are you doing?
You're too old, you wouldn't understand.
Karen has all the information on that.
Is it like a Pokemon contest? I don't really know what Pokemon is, so.
I'm just joking. It's the PTO, puts out a call to parents and to others to sponsor or provide enrichment activities for kids, and these are the titles. I don't know the details of the Pokemon one.
We can enroll you, though.
Do
you have cards?
No, Ninja.
Probably like cartoon.
Yes, I don't understand it.
Oh.
Isn't Pokemon the thing like they run around outside to do?
That's the electronic version, but there's a card. That's Pokemon Go.
Pokemon Go.
There's a card version, too.
This is Pokemon Stay in the school. Pokemon Stay. They run around.
Any other questions, or does that clear it right up for you?
Good to go.
Pokemon Don't Go.
Very interesting stuff we're doing now.
I know.
I mean, Simon Says abracadabra. Who knew?
I love Simon Says.
There you go.
Eat your art out. Tell you what, school's more fun than it was back in the old days.
It's after school.
Still though.
Even then, although back then I used to go out and play war and kill.
Dodgeball. Any other questions, or Mr. Gilfillan's going to go on? Mr. DeCola, if you wouldn't mind.
Agenda items C1 through C4. Mr. Gilfield?
Yes.
Mr. Arnett?
Yes.
Ms. Chicarelli?
Yes.
Ms. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Connors?
Yes.
Ms. Curley?
Yes.
Mr. Franz?
Yes.
Ms. Jennings?
Yes.
And Ms. Weber? Ms. Weber?
Yes.
Agenda items passed 9-0.
Sorry about that. We have no policy items this evening? Correct?
Correct.
Okay. And you're getting paid full-time for this? Full-time zero?
Got concert tickets, baseball tickets for the weekend, everything's on.
Wow, good for you, man. All right, no policy. We're going to move on to board business. Does anybody have any new topics that they'd like to discuss?
I do briefly, if I may.
Yeah, that'd be great.
There was a,
You're on mic here? I can't.
there was a discussion a while back, and we've done it on occasion, I'd like to revisit it, of moving the board meetings. I don't know if that has been, I haven't looked at the calendar recently, but I think it's a good idea that if we have a meeting at Milton Avenue or Washington Boulevard and those other schools, it kind of gives people perhaps in the area to come and attend. I thought
The
that
only
was a good
downside is
idea.
we can't videotape it. I mean, I'm all for it, it just can't be broadcast.
Oh, okay then. Well,
I mean, I like it, it just, we can't send it out live.
okay.
We can
I
videotape it and post it.
I can appreciate that, but I would still recommend it. I like that, and I think it's a good opportunity for us to get out, and we get it as board members, we get to visit the schools, and we get maybe a little presentation by the principal, and if we could record it. I thought it was a good idea when we did it,
Yeah.
and we kind of do it on an ad hoc basis, and I'd like to tee that up for discussion.
We met at middle school last meeting.
That wasn't a board meeting, that was a finance
board?
meeting.
No.
Oh, that was a finance?
That was
Yes.
an open.
Oh, the open presentation.
Those are open, we hold open referendums, and those
Yeah,
are
it was an
taped.
open meeting. Sorry, you're right.
Is that something Mr. Henderson could help us with? I know Tom can't obviously broadcast it out live, but it could be videotaped and posted.
Yes, we can make that happen. We can put together a few dates and.
It's just more of a discussion among the board members.
Yeah, I like the idea. The only thing that's changed since then is the fact that we tape it and we provide a disc to the borough, and it's sent out live right now as we speak to the township folks that are interested in listening. And that's not possible if we go remote.
Having it linked means the borough and the township can go back and look at it.
Yes. They could go back and look at it, just not real time.
But Mr. Salvis works wonders, so he can probably figure out all of it, maybe except the live.
Right, the live
you know,
feed
the
is
live
good.
on the cable
Right,
channel.
on the cable network.
I think with advance warning, you could schedule 2-3 times a year and just say, we will not
Be
be live,
broadcasting.
as long as there's enough lead time, and please join us at Washington Avenue School or Southern Boulevard, wherever we're going to be.
Yeah, I'm in
If
favor
it's
of
something
it.
that we,
I like doing it when we did it. The only reason we stopped is because of the live broadcast.
yeah, I agree, and I think people expect that, so we don't want to.
I'll make a quick comment regarding live broadcast. They have, Twitter, Periscope, so it's pretty inexpensive technology that's free for anybody. So if you could, you can actually Periscope a board meeting locally, and anyone with access to Twitter or I think Periscope's a Twitter product, I'm not sure. Yeah. Mark Cuban of the Dallas Mavericks is a backer, and what have you. Okay.
Google
But
Hangout.
technology exists.
yeah.
You don't need advanced, expensive audiovisual equipment to do so.
Okay, then we'll Periscope.
But that also limits some, a good portion of our residents don't do Periscope or,
I've never heard of it, so I don't know.
right,
I've never heard of it.
that's somewhat
I
limiting.
never heard of Pokemon.
Well, I can hire some assistants to live tweet the event, maybe.
That would be nice. All right.
This is really getting off the rails. I just want to
Thanks a lot, Rich. No, I think it's a good idea. I think it's a good idea to go remotely.
You just want it downtown.
And ideally, Rich, we hit 1K to 3, middle school, high school, and we should, and then the following year, we'll hit the other 2 schools that we didn't hit, and we'll just make it work. And if it's far enough in advance, Peter, I thought you had a additional comment. Is there any additional board business? Matt, are we good on the fields, all the field stuff? Okay.
Learn every Sunday.
And the last thing I'd like to mention is the election tomorrow. I don't know if you mentioned it early in the meeting, but referendum, please vote. Like, just get out and vote, people, please. This is an important item. Let's see if we can break a record with the number of people who vote on this very important issue. And an investment in the facilities, it's an investment in the kids' education.
Thank you, Mr. Connors. And just a reminder, the polls are open from 7 a.m. until 9 p.m. The borough residents vote at the Chatham Middle School. The township residents vote at the Chatham High School, and parking will be set aside and easy to park and easy to get in and out and vote. So please, it's from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m., the middle school or the high school.
And
Yeah, the
just,
gym at both.
Peter, how, will you be posting results on the district website? Like, or how are we going to get information out to the public once?
I should have the final results by approximately 9:30. I will, any of the board members are welcome to join Mike and I tomorrow night. We will email the results to all board members and our 2 good reporters who are very faithful and supportive of the district that are here tonight. And I'll email them to Dan. I don't know how quick, or the person who runs the district website, I don't know how quick he will get them up, probably Wednesday morning.
Okay, this is so people.
Okay. Excellent. Yeah, I'll be by tomorrow night. Any additional board business? No, seeing none. We have our second opportunity for public commentary.
Just wanted to ask a question. It's probably premature. I don't know if you can answer it. If it looks like it's going to pass the referendum, if let's say it passes at all 6 questions, do you guys have a plan on how quickly you can move on it and what you might prioritize?
We're going to move as quickly as we can. I mean, Mike, if you want to, we've already started talking about prioritization. Go ahead, Mike.
Sure, we don't want to put the cart before the horse, but we have a meeting scheduled for Thursday. Once we have the results, obviously, late tomorrow night or Wednesday morning. And that meeting will take place with our architects, and we'll sketch out basically preliminary plans and options depending on which questions are approved. And then that will be the subject for the Finance Committee meeting on October 19th. But we want to have the meeting as close as we can to the result of the vote being known so that the steps that the architect may have to begin taking that are just automatic, that need to take place, we can get in motion immediately by the end of this week.
And you already have plans, right? I mean,
we only have the drawings and plans that are required by the Department of Education to inform us of how much debt service we would receive. But detailed specs have not been drawn up because that, of course, requires much more, larger fee and so forth from the architect.
and then does it go out to bid, or it's like a?
Ultimately, any project that's approved will go out to bid.
Thank you. Thank
Some
you.
of, just to clarify that, some of that, like the bleachers, for example, if we use a state vendor, that doesn't go out to bid, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So the construction projects go out to bid, things like maybe purchasing like that, it's a state vendor, okay. I just wanted to clarify that's not all going out to bid. Is there any additional public commentary? Okay, very good. If not, if no objections, I make a motion to adjourn the public meeting. We have no executive session. Everybody enjoy the debate or wherever, football or wherever you're off to. Drive safely. Thank you all for coming out.